Now, I love all of my husband's policies. It is no doubt that the liberals are trying to steal them from him. But if you want real conservative policies, you must elect a conservative government. But to truly understand these policies, we have to understand the why. Why are we doing this? Who is the man behind these policies?
Good question, spicy Melania. The DSM-5 TR lists a few criteria for narcissistic personality disorder, and I think if we look at those, we can see a good idea of who your husband is. In interpersonal settings, there is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, lack of empathy. This pattern of behavior onsets in early adulthood, like around the time he dropped out of college to work for the Conservative Party because he believed that someday he'd get to be prime minister, and persists through various contexts. Clinical features include at least 5 of the following: having a grandiose sense of self importance, such as exaggerating achievements and talents, expecting to be recognized as superior, even without consummate achievements. Like how he sent his wife out on stage to tell everyone that him having a bachelor's degree that took him 8 years to get, I got mine in 4, qualifies him to be prime minister over Mark Carney, who not only has a bachelor from Harvard, but also has a master's and doctorate from Oxford. Because in Pierre's mind, getting a little bit of college under your belt and then learning how to fight with grown adults in a fancy chamber is definitely all that you need to know to run a country. The next of the possible 5 criteria is a preoccupation with fantasies of success, power, beauty, and idealization. Now, I am not going to play one of the many clips where your husband is talking about his version of an ideal Canada, but what he describes everyone having a house, not just a house, but a big, beautiful house. And it's always on a safe street. And for some reason, it's always patrolled by soldiers. And it's also under a proud flag, I guess. I don't know exactly what a proud flag looks like. I like the maple leaf with the 2 red bits on the side, but apparently this flag is it flies over all the houses. I picture, when like Mr. Burns tried to block out the sun, only it'll have like a big maple leaf on it, or maybe it'll just have a big blue sea. I don't know. But I always do wonder why there's so many soldiers in Pierre's fantasy neighborhoods. Next up, belief in being special and that only they can be understood by or associate with other high status people or institutions. Now, in fairness, at least on the campaign trail, Pierre does a pretty good job of looking like he's held a hammer before, or looking like he can cut a pizza, maybe, if he puts down the kid. But Pierre's never done the kind of work that he likes to cosplay doing. He does, however, really like to do fundraisers at the mansions of really, really rich people who he prefers to hang out with. So, like, when you say he's gone coast to coast listening to Canadians, I'm sure he has. I'm also pretty sure he's spent a lot of that time listening to Canadians at dinners that cost more than my rent for the month. Demanding excessive admiration. Now, I could point out that these rallies that he has, they promote worship of the party leader. Pierre's especially seem to have kind of like the energy of a WWF event. Realistically, all parties to some extent do these little let's get into a building, let's cheer, and let's worship the politician boy. But I will say that Pierre's are a little much. What I will, however, point out is that Pierre has largely muzzled his other MPs and told them that they're not allowed to talk to the media because, in his version of the Conservative Party, the attack Chihuahua is the Conservative Party and the Conservative Party is the attack Chihuahua. And that's not normal, even in the generally unhealthy atmosphere of politics. Next up is a sense of entitlement. And you can really see this when Pierre talks about him being the next prime minister. You can hear it in his voice that he feels like he's a kid that's been waiting for their sibling to finish playing a video game, and they've just started whining to their parents that Justin's been playing for 9 years and he's sick of waiting and he doesn't want to play his tails anymore. Leadership of the country we live in is not something that is owed to anyone if they just want it long enough and whine loud enough. Now, those are the first 5 criteria. I think he meets all of them, but there are more. There's things like extortion behaviors, which You can just ask Aaron O'Toole how him working out with Pierre worked out. There's lack of empathy, which you can really see when Pierre talks about people who are struggling with drug addiction and whatnot. Like they're really only people to him once they're dead, and any strategies to keep them from doing drugs that don't just involve creating a police state at the borders, those aren't good. It just needs to be punishment, punishment, punishment. Envy toward others or belief that others are envious of you, like sending your wife on stage to complain about how Mark Carney copied your homework and took the wind out of your sails. Yeah. Last thing is arrogant and haughty behaviors and attitudes. And if anyone can watch Pierre and not get that vibe, then I don't know what's wrong with you, but I can't stomach watching the guy for long because he comes off as so inauthentic. Anyway, it's almost 5:30 in the morning. I spent the evening largely in my buddy's hot tub trying to get my back to not be hating me right now. So it's gonna be a little bit light on the videos today, but thanks for watching. Bye.